Yeah, happy Friday afternoon,
Oh,
everybody.
God, I'm so excited for this one, man.
Yeah.
So excited.
Nikki, where are you coming from? Where are you coming to us from?
Sunny Los Angeles. Couldn't
Sunny
be
Los
warmer.
Angeles.
So sorry to the West Coast. Or East Coast. Sorry.
And I'm an asshole. Like, I literally just asked you how to pronounce your name, and now I forgot because we were laughing. Nikki Prause?
Prause, yeah.
Prause.
Yeah.
Prousey, I
I'm
want to
so
take it
sorry.
even more German and make it shorter.
Yeah.
I think that's the proper. That's the proper.
We get so, like, we have so much fun talking to guests that, like, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I totally forgot what to call this person. That's really embarrassing right now. Like, so.
Yeah. Hey, you.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you. How's it going? So yeah, welcome, man. We're psyched to talk to you. We love a lot of the stuff you go into. So we'll just kind of, I guess, break the ice by saying, like, how do you get where you're at? Like, what happened? How'd you get here? Like, how'd this happen?
We don't have a magic formula, Nikki. We ask one question and we just see what happens.
Yeah.
You're rolling. Yeah. It's less exciting than the job might sound like it led to, but I know I was very much in school at Indiana University, and my requirements said you got to take a lab credit, and I was looking through all the labs you could go into. I was doing obsessive compulsive disorder, eye blink conditioning, did that, and then like Kinsey Institute. I was like, what's that? Kinsey Institute. Oh my goodness. Okay. We got to try this one. And the very first study they put me on, we were looking at the vaginal responses of older adult women to a drug they thought might have prosexual side effects. So I was immediately showing pornography on VHS tapes. We had to start the recording at the same time we inserted the tape to look at their responses. And I thought, this is crazy. I can't believe you can study this way.
Yeah.
What world do we get to have this conversation, Matt?
Yeah. Well, but I think it's even funny, Nikki, I'm just envisioning that day. I'm envisioning that day. They're like, so do you want busty whores take LA, or do you want, you're like,
just ever be like, I've never seen 1, 2, and 3. I don't think I'm going to get the plot of 4.
Yeah.
The plot is very important. So in science, as you can imagine, we're very constrained in the kind of stuff we show, because usually our goal is just to get people aroused. So we want to offend the fewest people, just get them going. So we show consensual penile vaginal intercourse with no low base rate behaviors is what we say. So low base rate behaviors are like BDSM, anal intercourse, things that are commonly presented, but like, we just don't want to offend people. We want to get them
just the vanilla.
What do we call that? What are we calling that? Baseline? What the hell was that?
Low base rate behaviors.
Low base rate behavior.
I'm gonna pitch my wife that. I'm gonna be like, do you want to participate in some low base rate behaviors?
What an excellent consent process you have. I love it.
Some low base rate behaviors.
I can tell you what the answer will be, because no matter how I ask the question.
Right. That actually probably decreases my chances if I'm like, so would you like some low base
I'm drawn
rate?
dead either way, man.
Yeah.
You want to do something hot? No.
Hot to you.
You know what? We do t-shirts.
Yeah.
We have this t-shirt idea. I think that might be yours already. We'll see where this show goes. But would you like to participate in some low base rate activity? Seems like a fucking great t-shirt.
I made some buttons for our lab for a while that I got a little nervous about them being too edgy, but we'd give out buttons. If you wanted them, you could say I put out for science.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, so you're watching porn with some middle-aged women, maybe some seniors. I'm not sure. Yeah,
older adults.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're going so hard not to offend anyone.
Yeah. She's like, it's built in.
Yeah, we got it all. So I loved, I really loved programming. I thought I was going to go like the computer route, and some interest in psych, but I don't have like some people who go in psych doctorates like really want to like see patients, do the licensure thing. So I did that. Like, I got licensed, I can treat basic stuff, do all those assessments, but I really love the sciencey end of it. So I ended up going into psychophysiology, which is the joint of psychology and physiology. So I said, we put sensors on people. We still ask how they feel. So it's trust but verify. We look at how they're responding, but then we ask, is that how it feels to you too? So
qualitative and quantitative then within that.
Yeah, kind of together. Could see it that way. And I just loved that, we don't have to rely on self-report, because it's self-report always. It's, will they tell you and can they tell you?
Right.
And you just don't know.
In something like arousal, like clearly you're probably looking at things like heart rate and blood flow, but nothing internal.
Lots internal.
Lots.
Oh, wow.
Break it down. What do we got?
Wow.
So, so we say very high specificity measures. We get heart rate, we get electroencephalography, EEG brain waves, that kind of stuff as well. Galvanic skin response is a big interest of mine, but we have all kinds of genital measures. So in men, usually we're looking at tumescence measures, to some extent rigidity measures, and then we have one volumetric gauge that's sometimes used more with sex offender research. In women, historically, we've mostly used something called vaginal photoplethysmography, but we also do temperature gauges. Some people are using clitoral erection devices that are really hard to apply, so I don't use those. And then we use an anal device as well to look at like anal contractions associated with climax. So we get all the things.
Well, you're getting all
that was the most scientific list of sex toys I've ever heard.
Yeah. What's funny is we should put you in touch with one of our two-time guests, Dr.
Immediately, that's where I went.
He has an aura ring for your cock. It's literally.
Yeah, I think I might have talked to this guy.
He's
we messaged
great.
some.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy too.
He's a funny guy, and honestly, every time I talk to him, he's like super psyched to tell me how many erections he's now studied. Like he's very into it, and he's got this clinically unambiguous device that literally measures nocturnal erections.
I mean, the first time he was on, halfway through the show, he pulled out a giant pink dildo, and I went, wow, this is a different topic for us.
Yeah. But
those consumer grade devices are really interesting. Like they offer us some opportunities. Sometimes we use those consumer devices to collect from a broader sample of people, or we'll collaborate with those groups. Sometimes I haven't worked with him yet. But there's often an interpretation problem. So like there's a company that claims to quantify orgasms, like you can buy this dildo device, and their engineers seem to be top end, but then they say, oh, this is a waterfall orgasm and this is this. And I look at the traces, I'm like, that's not at all what that is. Right. I don't know why you think this or why you've put that on your website, but
right.
So there's often like a disconnect between kind of the device and what comes out of it, just like with people who get heart rate data from wrist devices. And so, well, how accurate is that? And what does that really reflect? Like, did you really just have a heart attack? Probably not.
Right.
So it's the same thing with like the emerging sexual devices. I think they're interesting. If you have the cash to play with them, have fun. But a lot of the kind of ways they're interpreting what they get out of it, I'd say, just take a step.
Well, and I've always said that with Tom. I mean, I've done a bunch of experiments, Tom has too. And I think that if you agree that the yardstick you're using is potentially not clinically accurate, but at least agree that we're going to go off.
You're using the same yardstick.
Yeah, we're using the same yardstick. Like at least you're like, all right, directionally, this got better, it got worse.
And for you personally, as an N of one, that I think that's more significant than when you're trying to do a study where you're looking at a group.
Yeah.
And even with his cock ring, I mean, I'm hopefully still doing. They haven't gotten it going yet, but they're doing a clinical study, and it's like, I'm super interested in this, but theirs is nocturnal erections and optimizing testosterone. So they're going to put guys in like the 85th percentile. Yeah.
No, she made a face.
She made a face.
I want to hear about it.
I want to hear about the face. Yeah, let's stop that. Let's hear about the face.
Why testosterone? Like, what is so?
What would be a better indicator? Something that would increase like vasodilation, or?
Well, I would be curious if I was talking to him. Like, what are you trying to optimize for? What do you think you're doing here? Because with testosterone, as long as you're within physiological levels, you don't have a disease that causes it to be suppressed. Generally, it doesn't affect erections. It doesn't affect reported sexual arousal. It doesn't affect desire levels. Like as long as you're within that range. Now, if you take enough that you supra-physiological, these are trans folks sometimes. That's a different ball of wax. Then we do see effects in relationships, but generally they're not strongly tied to kind of what people experience, what kind of behaviors they engage in. So I was like, why is everyone so obsessed with testosterone? Like, we're collecting it for a study too, but it's like, we got to rule stuff out.
Do you think that's a fragile male thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I say that?
Did I say that out loud?
Yes, hey, I slow pitched that one right to you. I served that up on a platter for you.
So it's interesting because, and again, this is, I don't get paid by him or anything like this, but I'm curious, like he's
we didn't even get the cock ring, man.
I know. He's looking at it from a cardiovascular health situation. So I think his underlying question is, if we optimize men into the 85th percentile of their age bracket for T levels, regardless of your physiological condition now, does it have an effect on your cardiovascular health? And the way he's measuring it is through nocturnal erections.
And his T-shirt was going to be the penis is the canary in the coal mine for cardiovascular disease.
Yes. That actually, those sound very reasonable. Like, I don't know to what extent in NPT, so we call nocturnal penile tumescence, NPT, like is a index for shifting cardio within that window.
Way to fuck with that fun thing, huh? Like nocturnal,
right?
Yeah. Like, wow.
I say I can make sex less fun than anyone you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is
some friends
terrible.
told me to stop saying that to my dates, but
stop saying this. So MPT, huh? Like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, so we used to colloquially Peter meter, right? That's what we call it.
That's funny.
When we weren't being professional, but. Yeah, so it's interesting. NPT has been around a long time, and it seems to be a good index of some things and not of others. So like we used to use it back in the day to differentiate organic from psychogenic erectile dysfunction. And it turns out if you're an anxious guy, you're still anxious when you're sleeping. So sometimes it was still psychogenic, even though it was impacted during sleep.
Wow.
So now we're like, okay, well, that doesn't work. And because of that, people kind of stopped making these Rigiscan devices. So now it's really hard to get them, which is annoying because I would like to measure that cost effectively in my nonprofit status. But it's been kind of this evolving thing. So it's interesting that they're kind of now doing this development. I appreciate it sounds like trying to be reasonable about the claims, which is great. I saw, who's that big, shoot, I'm going to blank on his name, but there was a wellness guy who made these claims. He'd done an NPT study with burritos that either had meat or not meat. He was trying to make a case that having just one instance, of consuming red meat impacted your erectile dysfunction, but he didn't counterbalance his conditions. And so this myth now is all over the place. And he basically said, like, we gave guys these burritos with something the first night and they had poor erections. And the second night we gave them vegetarian burritos and they had all these great erections. We're like, right, that's a very well-known effect of NPT. You never take the measure from the first night because it disrupts sleep. Like having something wrapped around your penis all night makes you wake up. So you kind of got to get used to it. And I was like, he just took advantage of the methodological design flaw. So there's all kinds of like myths that are getting propagated with these kinds of measures when they're not used properly, balanced properly. But so I think it's fascinating that they're making it accessible. We use those devices sometimes in the lab when they suit our needs. But this is
interesting. Is it the Game Changers by Aaron Spitz? Does that sound right? Because
I remember it was at Los Angeles Summit event. And
this is the first time I'm hearing about burritos and erections.
There's another guy who did it.
Those are two things I care about.
Yeah.
I really like burritos, and I'm middle aged, so they're gaining on the erections quite fast.
He was just he was the heart healthy diet guy. His diet was very reasonable. Like, I don't think that was an outlandish claim at all, but it was more like he claimed to have done this research with this 2-night study, and I was like, that's not possible.
Yeah, and it's funny because this guy Aaron Spitz came up with apparently a very similar outcome, and again, I think it's funny. We talk about this a lot on the show, which is, look, we're all salesmen, whether you want to be or not, or admit that you are or not. But if you're in business at all, you're a salesman. And so
you're not talking poorly about your own product. Yeah.
Right. And so look, this guy's got to sell the study, right? Like, I mean, at a certain, and here's how you do it. No one's going to
very flashy. Yeah. Everyone loved it. And I was like,
But this is Matt. Even when we went on, we had a guest on the show. We went on her show and she wanted us to bring controversial points. And my first one was, the majority of Americans are not well equipped enough to do their own research. Right. So I hear that title. I look at the study. Right now, I have a clinical degree for acupuncture where we were looking at research. Because that's a field I'm not in, would probably have missed that little or be unaware of that methodology procedure that like, oh, yeah, this sounds reasonable.
Yeah, because it's like the second I mentioned it, I'm sure you're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Once you told us that, it makes sense. Yeah.
Hey, Tom, put something around your penis and see if it makes you sleep worse or better. You know?
Yeah.
Right. That'll probably throw it off.
Yeah. 100%.
You just got to counterbalance your design. And
now, how do you counterbalance in that? Make the measurements like 2-3 days, a week later, or like how do you figure that?
If he only had 2 people in his study, so you give one person the vegetarian burrito the first night, and the other person the meat burrito the first night, and then you swap them on the second night, and you just show they both just slept worse on the first night. That's all it was.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, yeah, I see. And see, that's a very non-sexy addition to it. That's not that hard. You know,
all I'm hearing is I got to get burritos when we get off this call.
Yeah. That's all I hear is burritos.
I don't know what was in his guacamole, but
yeah,
that's it.
Did you just make the claim that guacamoles improve erections?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Is that what
it's
I'm
a
hearing?
healthy fat. It's a healthy fat.
Please put that with my name next. There's already so much.
No, exactly.
Oh, we're not slandering you at all. We're having way too much fun.
So I guess what's the most exciting thing going on right now? Like, I mean, I always like to hear the state of the art of these things, right?
So the thing I'm most excited about right now, we're doing what will be the largest lab study of male orgasm physiology ever conducted. We're going to have 100 at the end, and we're literally at 49 right now. So we're like halfway mark. And we've done some of this work in women before, but then we got a larger grant for guys. Sorry. We'll try to catch the women up after. But we're looking at brain measures all the way through. So from 0, getting up in my chair, to masturbating through to climax, and we record a minute afterwards as well. And if you've ever taken a human sex class, you probably were presented with the human sexual response model from Masters and Johnson. If you saw the Masters of Sex show, those people.
Yeah.
That's still what we're getting. And so the idea used to be like you get aroused, you have some plateau phase, climax, resolution. That's the sexual response. I think that's wrong. And I think we have data to show that's wrong. Specifically, the part where we say there's a plateau, like you get aroused enough and then you hang out until magic happens. We still don't know how orgasms are triggered. So orgasm happens. It actually seems like a lot happens between being highly aroused and when orgasm actually occurs. That is 2 main things we've documented so far that I think we'll be able to publish. So, grain of salt here, but galvanic skin response, all these indicators of sympathetic tone increase through arousal, just like we expected, just like is very well documented. But when we tell people, okay, try and have a climax, they fall off a cliff. So sympathetic tone decreases, and no one knew it did that. It shouldn't do that. There's no reason, expectation, documentation that occurs. And we see something similar in the brain waves. So if we just look at the alpha, so alpha is between 8 and 12 hertz typically. So it's like hertz or cycles per second. It's just a component of brainwave. If you do biofeedback with brainwaves, like the Muse headset.
So many on
I
here,
normally have my Muse headband sitting within arm's reach. So
I didn't have time to do it, but I did a 5-minute neurovisor session between our first show and this one. So we're all in on the frequencies.
They're almost all based on alpha biofeedback. So just
and that's why the neurovisor creator was like, look, we if you want to fuck with the brain, if you really want to fuck with the brain, let's play with some of those other frequencies too, which is one of the things I really love about that product.
That they let it look at
their audio visual entrainment. And they will do other frequencies based on what they're looking to, what effect, I guess, they're causing to produce.
And then you get a pie chart of literally whatever the frequencies you fucked with.
This 11 minutes, these are the frequencies. When you start
looking at it and you're like, oh, I felt really good today on this one, and then the next day I felt really bad, the next day I felt really good, then you compare the 2 goods, you're like, oh, that's interesting, theta was through the roof, or beta, or what are these?
Those are so interesting, the kinds of information they're giving consumers back. And we work with some of those consumer grade headsets as well as research grade, and it's they're interesting in comparison. So that characteristically, when you start to get sexually aroused, alpha is strongly suppressed because you're engaging in an effortful process. You're attending to something sexual. You have to elaborate on it to give it a sexual context.
Wow.
Make sure you're paying attention to it. And
so what happens? High beta? What are we seeing in the wave pattern?
So early in sexual arousal, there's strong suppression of alpha and increase in gamma. And what we're seeing when we tell people to start to try to climax is alpha floats up, like right at that moment.
So wait, when you say tell people,
they're trying to dial it in and cross the finish line.
Like,
yeah,
hey,
I have some questions about the procedures here. Like,
do you know, I wonder, are charts too far for y'all? Is that weird to?
No, God, no. Charts go.
I want to know. I kind of have this weird fantasy going on where somebody's like yelling at me, like, you better do that now, and I'm like, oh, okay.
So like, I got to be honest with you. The process of hearing somebody say it's time to come and like makes me kind of want to not do that. Like I'm just like,
you're just a contrarian.
It's just
we're Gen Xers. What are you going to do?
It feels like a lot of pressure all of a sudden. You know, you're like, oh crap, I got to go now. Like, you know, it just feels like the opposite of what I would be doing in that situation.
Yeah, I wonder.
You can share screen.
Yeah, there's
I believe
a share down at the bottom too.
Yeah, I was like, if this doesn't take too long to get.
Long form, and believe me, we're not cutting you short. This is an interesting
while you're
subject.
Doing that, like, did you literally mean like you give them a cue? It's time to orgasm.
Yes. So, can you see the screen I'm showing?
No.
Did you? There might be a second share button. Like you click it and then click it again.
Okay, I'm gonna do share screen. I'm just gonna do entire screen. We may need to edit something if I accidentally flash something here, but
I mean,
believe me, we'll leave it in.
Oh man. I mean, like, it'd be weird if we didn't see something weird on your desktop. To be,
I would expect of all the browser histories.
Yeah. We'll give it one more try. Is there any display now?
No.
So I'm happy to send it to you later. We'll figure it out.
I'd love to.
Sounds great.
So it just kind of shows the protocol. So there's no protocol published for this. So the question is, like, if you want to study sex in the lab, how do you do that? Like, we can't just have people come in and be like, go for it, because then I have no idea what they're doing. And for a laboratory protocol, we have to like have some structure to it. So we decided brainwaves are really affected by having your eyes open or closed. So first we have to make a decision. Do we want to leave their eyes open or closed? We decided closed. That means all audio instructions. So we don't show porn in this study. So we have them close their eyes, and then we say, okay, you're going to hear a series of sounds. Some are street sounds, like you're just walking down the street somewhere with traffic around. Then you're going to hear noises of sex. So people having intercourse, not a sex story, not erotica, but like sounds of sex.
Like just a straight, here's two people having sex.
Yep. And we do some pre-testing of that. Same thing, one man, one woman, consensual vaginal intercourse is what we're trying to portray with the sounds. And they alternate like 10 seconds each, and they go back and forth for like 5 minutes. And then we say, okay, now the sexual sounds are going to get longer, like 30 seconds. We want you to touch yourself during these. So they're doing self-stimulation. They're in a room by themselves. I am not there. I can see nothing.
This is unobserved.
Unobserved. So they're all suited up with sensors, but we're next door just monitoring the sensors to make sure everything's running okay.
Sure.
So that as soon as we start to tell them to touch themselves, we get increases in galvanic skin response, increases in breathing rate, heart rate, all the things you would imagine, suppression of alpha. And then after about 5 minutes of that, we say, okay, try to have an orgasm if you're able to. The sounds, sexual noises last an hour. So we say it doesn't matter to us if you're fast or slow. That has no bearing. You know, we're going to get the measure regardless.
Right.
And we also collect ejaculate samples. So we're like, try and hit the cup if you can. And then afterwards, they clean up, sit there for a minute. So we do 1 minute of recording post-orgasm, and then we tell them to get dressed. So that's the protocol.
How many devices are on? Because like I feel like that might be a deterrent for me.
Oh yeah, So we have a electroencephalography brain cap. We have 3 sensors for ECG. So we got 2 on the chest, 1 on the trunk.
Yeah.
We've got a temperature measure. We were trying to get it from the chest, which is a bit better, but we can't shave guys, and there was too many hairy guys. So we're like, we got to move our sensor. So we shifted it to the neck.
Oh, I thought you were going to go rectal there. I was.
Yeah. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Because
that's only going to help with some guys.
This is core temp.
Yeah.
Then we got galvanic skin response. Normally we get that from these 2 areas on the finger because they have dense eccrine glands or sweat glands. But the other place they're very dense is on the sole of the foot. And their hands are busy, so we cannot collect from their hands. So we get it from the arch of their foot, essentially these 2 sticker sensors. And then if they're agreeable, we get an anal pneumatic device in as well. It looks like a butt plug, like a sex toy. And it has pressurized air in a tube. So it's partially inside the body and the 2 sphincters partially outside. And so when they orgasm, they have very stereotyped contractions. And that lets us know exactly when the orgasm started, which really helps our timing to know, like, okay, this is precisely with respect to the other measures. Is that involuntary?
Like if a dude's having an orgasm, is there anal constriction regardless? Like you can't control it?
Yeah, so I'd say it's very much like a sneeze. When it starts, it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, it's just going to happen, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep, there's a cascade of events, and the contractions, to me, are the best way. There's some scientists who disagree with me, and they say prolactin surge is a better way of capturing that. I don't agree with that, but that's an open debate.
So you mentioned the prolactin, right? And the reason I reached out to you is you were talking about some of the myths around, what was it, No Fap November or something like that.
Yeah.
And, look, I told you I'm an acupuncturist. Clearly, I've seen some Taoist practices around not ejaculating.
Sure.
And then a lot of the biohackers are talking about prolactin spiking if you ejaculate through masturbation or through watching porn. And I was like, is that bullshit? Is it real?
It turns out like all of these things, anytime we measure, which is not much, like this is a very small area of science, is those spike more with people always. So I don't know where this idea got started that yes, there's a prolactin, vasopressin, kisspeptin, oxytocin surge at climax. People often talk about a dopamine surge at climax. That is flat wrong. Dopamine plummets at climax.
Really?
Wow.
Why? Well, dopamine's a motivation, primarily sensitive. So when you've climaxed, you've
already got the reward.
You've already got the reward. Motivated than you've ever been right now.
Indeed. So I say when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. So anytime we measure those things and compare them from masturbation, whether viewing porn or not, and compare it with a partner, it's always higher with a partner, usually massively higher with a partner. And it's just a reflex. So I think it's just a matter of the period of stimulation before. That's when we're with a partner, we tend to take our time, like we might not spend, we got 5 minutes, we need to go to sleep to masturbate or something. So I don't even know if it's special to the partner necessarily so much as it is just like a more intense experience.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit too, because I think there's a lot of movement around now, and especially people that are getting sort of like like Asian anything, right? Like yogas and all these sort of meditation people. There's a
tantra and those kind of things.
There's this huge movement to just not come. Period. Full stop. Like, hey, wait a month, wait a week, wait a whatever, and I'm like, I don't know, really? Like this feels, and then you get the guy who's like, I'm 75, been jerking off every day since I was 15, and
that was a past guest.
And it's
God bless him, I
mean, listen,
don't hurt anything.
George Burns also smoked a cigar every day till he was like 95, right? Like, so it's like, I don't know.
Outliers to everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is this
so interesting to me? This idea that like the essence comes out in men, right? And essence means a few different things in Chinese medicine. It is the sperm itself. It's the part that we pass on to the next generation, but it's thought to be finite. And, as that sand's running out of the hourglass, we're aging, getting older and more decrepit, and then eventually die. But the idea is don't go firing it all over town if you want to stick around for a while, Right. Now I did have one teacher, and unfortunately he passed, not from that.
Yeah. Too much jerking off.
Who was like, look, dude, you expend it just through the stress of life. You might as well have a good time.
Right.
Well, and the more you abstain daily in practice, the more likely you're to have nocturnal emissions. So your body will take care of it.
You're gonna flush the system either way.
Yeah. So that is funny. Is there sort of I don't know if this is the right word, but is there a biological imperative to ejaculate? I mean, it feels
there is definitely some use it or lose it kind of quality to a variety of sexual functions, and it happens with women also. So like on the female side, there's a loss of vulvar tissue elasticity if you stop being sexually active. The fat in the mons of the pubis tends to degrade more rapidly if you're not sexually active. So there's some argument to be made for, like, even if you don't have a partner, masturbation is probably a good idea. With respect to guys, like, we used to think even like for reproductive factors that you'd have to wait a week, right, to donate if you're trying to get pregnant or something. Sure. Now data show it recovers in 24 hours, more or less. It's pretty quick to return to function. There was this really fun study that just came out like a month ago, because so many people abstain for testosterone reasons. They think it increases their testosterone. And we had all these signals that it probably was the opposite. And they just did like the best study. And it was a small group, but really well controlled, of athletes. And masturbation absolutely increased testosterone, and it influenced performance on 2 different sporting events they tested.
Wow. So this whole not banging before a fight.
The opposite is true.
The opposite is true.
Yes. So you should be having definitely sex before the World Series. Yes.
Maybe it's bridge too far to interpret.
Maybe.
But it's fun. It's fun to. Listen, that would be the implication. Yeah.
We're the masters of building very long bridges here, Nikki. I'm just saying.
I'm loving this discussion for so many reasons.
Yeah. No. Well, you know what it is? It's like there's so much like not just misinformation, but just a general like willingness to be misinformed when it comes to sexual anything. I don't know what it is. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, I'm totally okay with this bullshit.
Yeah. So we were in the past a lot more fighting shame and kind of religious constraints and things that people would assume about what should or shouldn't be. And now it's like, well, we discuss all these things a lot more freely, but we have a huge marketplace now. So it used to be like my research was opposed by religious folks and some feminists. Now my research is really opposed by manosphere groups.
Really?
Yeah. So, why would feminists?
So there's historically a split in feminism where some view kind of pornography and women being open to have multiple partners is like a good, freeing thing and empowering. And other feminists say, you're devaluing yourself. That's abusive. Porn is always rape. Those kind of interpretations. So that split still exists in the feminism community.
So not only do you have to fight all the academic bullshit that every researcher has to fight, but now
you gotta get a grant. Yeah.
Now you got to fight off some militant people about that's all religious based or whatever, which makes no sense.
Do they show up outside of the lab?
We have pictures of people with placards protesting the Kinsey Institute when I was there. They were still.
No way.
Oh my God.
That is ridiculous.
That was Judith Reisman, who passed a few years ago, and she is part of Morality in Media, that's now National Coalition on Sexual Exploitation, which seemes to have very little to do with that topic, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But
did she just need to get laid?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
It should have been look, as a doctor in this field, I can fix all this for you.
I do pull that card sometimes, but usually with partner.
Right. I got you.
Right.
know.
Well, you know what? You're the worst person to argue that to, because you're like, no, listen, man, this is I can back this up. I could bore you for at least an hour.
I almost feel like I got to ask you about headaches. Will it help a headache?
Yeah. I mean,
they're interesting. So there's some interest in using these to manage pain because so again, just to maybe help some myth busting is it's not dopamine per se. We think opioids are probably the mechanism that sexual arousal might help manage pain through.
Oh, interesting.
So like an endorphin kind of response.
Possibly. Like, I think it's a little more nuanced than that, maybe.
Okay.
And there have been a few tests to kind of look at, like vulvar sensitivity, pre-stimulation versus after 5 minutes of stimulation, whether that's vibratory or manual. So that's putting a vibrator on the clitoris or having it stimulate it.
And then your metric there is what? All those other like sweat and all that others. Those are your.
So they look at, this is again like a handful of studies, but they look at sensitivity. So they use these things called von Frey hairs. And so they have different thickness of hair and they poke the vulva or the forearm. A volar forearm is a popular place to test. And you'll get sensitivity and pain perception.
Oh, I see.
Sensitivity is like, okay, you press this hair until it bends to 90 degrees, basically, and that we know exerts a certain force. There's been some effort to standardize this, but that's kind of the classic method. And so you poke around the vulva and you're like, can you feel that? Can you feel that? Can you feel that?
That seems more intimate than asking somebody to masturbate. Like that.
So the McGill University is famous for their research in pain. And so they have been the leaders really in looking at the relationship of like sexual arousal as a potential intervention with pain management. Wow. And so it's still a very young science because we're just doing like perceptual studies, still very, very basic stuff, but I love it as a potential use there. And I think there's lots of reasons, like there could be other mechanisms than just opioid that might help manage that. But man, if you want to get off medications, that might be an excellent, like just endogenous opioid.
Yeah. I mean,
why are we not looking at this?
Get off medications by getting off.
Yeah. Like, there you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like writing
I need a marketer.
I've never done marketing in my life, but I feel somewhat equipped in this field.
So maybe I missed it, but the nerd in me wants to know, like, so alpha and dopamine suppressed during sexual arousal. Did we cover what goes up?
Dopamine goes up during sexual arousal, but it drops at climax.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah. So and they're primarily, if you care, it's D2, D3 seems to primarily be the dopamine, so like receptors that are impacted, and they go up a lot because it's like, get up the hill, let's go.
Sure.
You couldn't be more motivated.
Here's the motivation to get up that hill. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of the split. So I've started really saying we need to differentiate early sexual arousal and orgasm approach arousal. I think they're very, very different in the brain and the body. So the arousal, the early stage arousal, which is what, again, we're a tiny field, and those of us that are, we tend to focus on the first 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Our porns usually aren't longer than 5 minutes.
Right. Okay.
And so that's
There's about 1,000 jokes about how long the average dude is actually involved in this process to begin with.
That's about 4.5 minutes longer.
Right. I'm like, 5 minute porn. What are you watching?
Jesus, man.
Yeah, and they actually watch it through. So
short TikTok reel.
Yeah.
It's just early arousal is strong dopaminergic response, strong alpha suppression, strong sympathetic nervous system reactivity. And some of this you can look for yourself. So like if you have their eSense monitors, I don't have any stock, you can get them anywhere that go on your hand. So if you're a one-hander with a vibrator and you can put these on your other hand, you can watch your galvanic skin response go up initially, and then as you approach climax, it'll drop. So it's one line, very easy to interpret. So if you want to play with this, that's the way to do it.
That's
get galvanic
awesome.
skin response sensors.
That is crazy. And why would alpha? I'm trying to determine why alpha would crash.
Oh, we have a story for it, but again, we'll have to see if this is the case.
Yeah, no. What's the story?
So I think it's early on, like you really have to focus and attend to stimulation. And so, right, this is part of the problem with low drive is people may not, they may notice something sexual, but you have to actually like think about it, engage with it, not be shamed about your sex, to kind of get it going. And then, okay, so you're getting going. Well, a climax is best we know in the brain looks a lot like a seizure. There's a lot of synchronous firing and activation. So you probably shouldn't just be in that state randomly walking around. That's not a good idea. Right. It's a paralytic in part. So you're not responding to your environment. You're not aware of what's going around you very much. So we say, well, then to get into that state, your body should make sure that that's okay.
Sure.
That we're in a place.
Do a gut check.
So I think what all this disengagement is a release of cognitive control that allows the body to go into this state that otherwise is not safe. So,
interesting.
That's how we're understanding it right now. We'll figure out what actually ends up in the paper.
Yeah, sure.
But that's what we think is going on, is they're just like, orgasm is a unique brain state. It's very, very difficult to measure because of the movement that occurs in the face and gross movement and climax, and there's only one. So usually with neuroscience, that's why we have those sounds in our protocol, like street sound, sex sound, street sound, sex sound, because we're getting test A, B, A, B.
Yeah.
And with orgasm, there's just C.
Yeah. That's it.
And so it's very difficult because we don't have repeated measures to say, like, what is climax doing in the brain? So we're not positive, but that's kind of our best guess. You're not getting an orgasm
from the street sound, so there's no way of checking out, like,
we had a couple of guys go early, but
that's so funny. Yeah, okay.
It does happen.
They're like, no, I just really like Buicks.
Yeah, like that.
I was like,
in the background.
When I get to talking about these data, I'm gonna love all this. There's so many funny stories from the lab.
I'm sure there's an endless supply of funny stories.
It's probably the funniest things humans do, and we take credit for that.
Yeah. I tell guys that you're gonna have the best story at the bar tonight if you choose to tell it.
100%. How the hell do people find you? Are you putting ads in papers for this shit, or like?
And I want to be
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
We would like to sign up as participants.
Yeah, like I'm like, how do you? I mean, it shouldn't be hard to entice any male with even a little bit of curiosity.
No, we pay them $100 and they come on to UCLA campus.
Jesus Christ, it's even better. Yeah.
The protocol takes about 2.5 hours, but we tell them to budget 3 just because we don't know how long they're going to take on the orgasm part.
Yeah. Especially with you barking in their ear. Hey,
not in their
Get it up. The tape is going to run out.
That was the word. I did have to ask one time if something was wrong, and I was like, I can't believe I got to do this.
I can't believe I have to ask this question.
I'm so sorry, but is everything okay in there?
Yeah. Oh man, no, that's
This is too vanilla.
Yeah, I haven't had sex missionary in 20 years. This shit's boring me to death. Yeah,
it's all kinds of just like, I have an unusual masturbation position. Am I going to be able to do this when the time comes?
I love that guy admitted that out in open. All right. So I like to hang upside down. Do you have gravity boots at a bar?
Look. I don't know if you guys watch Shoresy.
No.
What have you done?
There was a show called Letterkenny, and it was about this little hick town in Canada, and there's these characters, and the guy who is the head writer and the star of it is the best kind of autistic. The jokes are hammer, and he did a spin-off character called Shoresy, who is a hockey player, and it got its own show after. The last season that they just did, he's going into his house where all the hockey players are staying, and he walks in one room, guy's on all fours with a computer in front of him, and he's masturbating. And he goes, "You jerk off like that?" He goes, "Yeah." And then they're having, very apropos to this conversation, he's like, "Well, what kind of porn are you watching?" He goes, "Oh, you can't watch porn. That lowers your testosterone." And then he goes, "What are you watching?" He goes, "I'm watching TikTok try-on hauls." And he goes, "What the fuck is that?" He goes, "I'm watching women change into different outfits." And it was the goofiest conversation because the other hockey players are then coming over, and he goes, "Check out how this guy's jerking off."
That was, one of the things I've been most surprised about is like, man, guys are troopers because we do so much to them. And like, you got to sit here and your legs out like that and this, and you're in this room, and they're almost all of them.
I'm in.
Not to have a problem.
Yeah. This will not be a problem for men. Yeah. Meanwhile, the parallel companion study for women has had one participant in 8 years, and they can't.
I will say, like, one thing. Yeah. So I always like to say we poo on male sexuality a lot, right? We talk about men's rape tendencies and the manosphere and the terrible, dumb things guys do. And so I want to
all 100% true.
Yeah.
No, stop. So I like to say, like, we do see some kind of cool things in our work. So one thing we're seeing with our temperature gauge is, like, right before climax, guys have a little temperature spike. It's really kind of remarkable. So if you ever feel like that warm surge or a sex flush, like, we're documenting, guys have this really cute kind of flush of warm feelings at climax. I was like, look, they do too.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's funny.
It's not like, even though people might say that, it's nice, I think, to see it documented and be like, okay, this is real. Like, that feeling, that pleasurable, nice, warm sensation is something we can document and show you. And also, like, in the lead up in some of our women, when we tell them to start touching themselves, we can see evidence in their galvanic skin response and other measures. They're trying, like, the second they start touching, like, okay, I'm going to start building up, I'm doing my best. And a lot of the guys, we see them needing to hold back a little bit because they don't want to come early.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, look, like, they're really trying. They have to, like, put forward effort, and I can prove it.
Yeah. And I can tell you exactly where that effort is coming from. Yeah.
They're managing it. This is a well-practiced thing for guys that I don't think is well-practiced for women, because climax is more difficult. And so they can just, like, let's go. I'm going to do my best effort. And
Did
guys,
you get some overachiever females, though, that are like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Do you see it in women?
Interestingly, we don't see the hold back, but what I like to say, we had in our data, we had some women who claimed to have multiples, and we had the women just indicate when they were having one, and about half the women, when they said they were not by scientific standards, so they weren't having contractions. And so the question is, what does that mean? Are they faking? Are they lying? Is one possibility. I don't think they were, because, like, they know we're measuring them. They're in a study. Like, who are they pleasing?
Right. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah. So I don't think they're faking. And so if we take that at face value, these women really think they're having a climax, then what's going on?
Yeah.
And my colleague and I disagree about interpretation. So he thinks there's two different types of orgasm, and we're just documenting one that's non-contracting. I think that's bullshit.
What do you think?
I told him so. I think women don't know what a climax is, because I was like, where do you learn what that is as a female? And I say, you hear things like, oh, it's all over sensation. You might hear warm. You might hear, you feel very connected, very excited. You get piloerection or goosebumps sometimes. But we don't have ejaculate. We don't have, like, these kind of symbols that help you learn that you've climaxed. And so I think a lot of these women are having some kind of pleasurable experience that's not climax, and they don't know.
And they just don't know what to call it. That is interesting.
So it couldn't be a more cerebral climax or something like that. That's not a thing.
My colleague could be right, but now this is the problem, and this is part of why we're kind of like okay with starting with men first. Because that does not happen with men. If they say they climax, they're contractions.
Well, it's easy to tell, right? Like
you have a smoking gun.
Although what is interesting though is, and I'd be curious if I doubt it's ever happened in your studies, because it's not really about that. But, like, when you look at some of those tantric practices, there's men that can have 10 orgasms, and trust me, there's not a guy alive who doesn't know what a fucking orgasm is. I assure you of that. Like, in no ambiguous terms.
This is the thing, right? In those,
but there's no ejaculate is where I was going.
Yeah,
like, they can hold it. An
so
orgasm without ejaculation.
Claims, and it's very I'm very open to that possibility, but the problem is no one has ever studied that. It's never been documented.
It doesn't seem like a large pool of males that would even
know how to do
to train that.
Yeah.
Because I think that has to be learned. I mean, at least once again, going back to those Taoist texts and stuff, it's a practice. And two, I don't think any of them would be like, yeah, just go put all these sensors on me and I'll show you.
Right.
Yeah. I get emails at least once a month of someone telling, like, you have to study me. I do this amazing thing. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Who knows if they're being inappropriate or actually curious. With these,
probably almost always.
No, they probably were told once to keep their ego in check how great they were.
Yeah.
No, you were the best. Totally.
Yeah. try to. Normally, you just can't respond because there are all kinds of constraints on my license and things. But sometimes if they seem sincere and they're like seeking input because they're like, I'm not sure what this is, or something like that. Sometimes.
I want to do another show where you just read us these emails. I would sit and listen to 3 hours of that. No shit.
I would just tell the public, like, emails, when you send them to my .edu, they are subject to FOIA. Anyone can get them.
Sure.
Do not send me this kind of stuff.
So what is that email address?
It's a terrible idea.
I cannot protect you. So please do not send me private information in my .edu.
That is really funny. So, like, I guess 2 questions here, all kind of the same thing, but like you said, no one's really studied like the multi-orgasmic male. That's a fringe of a fringe kind of thing. But
not in our way.
What would even get somebody to need to or want to study that? Like your study, for example, in what you're doing, like, what do we get out of the knowledge here? Like, what do we do with this information?
Yeah, money is the bottom line. There are lots of scientists who would study this kind of thing if there was funding to do it. And in the States, they've explicitly stopped this kind of work. NIH will not fund it. And
fucking Puritans.
There's some more. If you go to Canada, there's like a women's sexuality fund that it's small, relatively speaking, but Trudeau was very pro sex research, oddly. One of the reasons I'm forced to love him. But it's just a lot is forbidden in this country. And if you do that kind of work, you get violent threats constantly. Like, because I say masturbation's good, all the people who say masturbation's bad hate me and want me dead.
Sure,
It's kind of crazy.
Who the fuck is saying masturbation is
why?
bad?
And like, why the fuck? Like, most of those motherfuckers can't read. What are they doing with a college?
Well, this is the thing. So, like, to Tom's point, like, there are plenty of people who have a practice of not doing that, and I have no problem with that. I correspond with them sometimes. But some guys are like, no, if you touch yourself, you're not a man anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
You're less of a person. And if you
those
pay
are
me,
the same guys that crash Grindr at RNC conventions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Trans women aren't women. Excuse me, I'll be back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need to go talk to this NBA sized woman over here.
Yeah. Right. But like, what I guess two other questions, I guess, like, the people that are against this are pushing up against your research. A, why are they doing that? And then B, what are you getting out of the research? Like, it seems underfunded. It seems like people are bitching at you and
I mean, is this basic research? Or are we looking for an application?
Yes. So the main people who fight back these days, there's still the religious and feminist aspect, but it's almost all these profiting manosphere groups. So they're trying to sell anti-masturbation, let me help you not touch yourself, let me help you be a real man, kind of thing. They're already in with Andrew Tate and McGinnis and all these folks.
Idiots.
Who,
wow.
Like,
Yeah.
So
fucking,
it's just
that guy
part
looks
of.
like Gollum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Our masturbation study is funded by the National Organization of Rare Disorders and the Fulton Family Foundation. And you may say, what the hell? Like, why are they interested in this? We're trying to ultimately work on something called post-orgasmic illness syndrome, and this affects mainly men. Every time they climax by any means, they have flu-like symptoms for 2 to 7 days afterwards.
What?
That's fucking nuts. I've heard about headaches afterwards, but never.
Yeah. So
that's a thing? Holy shit, I've never even heard of that.
What's the population of people suffering with that? How big is that?
There's no nationally representative sample, so we don't know for sure, but that's why we're funded by an Institute for Rare Disorders.
Sure.
That makes sense.
So I don't think it's very common, but of course it impacts these guys quite a lot because that's their life, their romantic life, their pleasure life.
And you said by any means, so whether it's in a man, in a woman, or in a cup, it's all the same.
Yep.
And being male, I'm gonna have the flu a lot.
Yeah.
I would like to go. That might cut it down. But no.
Yeah. Most of these guys, they still have a sex life, so they manage it and just try and do it on a Friday so they can be sick over the weekend.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they got to plan kind of their
that sounds fucking miserable. Oh my God.
But the funny thing is they're saying, okay, so what's abnormal? And we're like, well, we don't even know what's normal.
Yeah.
We have to get a control sample.
Right. How do I tell you possibly answer this question? I can't. Yeah.
So we were so excited both to possibly help the patients. I mean, that's number one. That's why the funding exists. But the normative data from this study, we're like, we just want the control data too. To know
what are your sample sizes? What kind of I know you said one you're trying to get 100, but what's
50, we basically done our 50 controls, and now we're trying to recruit the patient sample. So we wanted to, because the patients are so much harder to identify, some are traveling from out of the country to come to the laboratory. So we really wanted the protocol nailed, by the time they start coming in. So we did all the controls first. And now we're trying to recruit patients. So yes, if you know anyone who you think has this thing, they can do our screening online. And can come to LA.
Wow. And can come to LA. So outside of the rare, actually, let's just finish that loop for a second. So what could you guys find out, best case scenario, that could help these people?
So historically, they used to think there might be an allergen in the ejaculate, so that the post-orgasmic illness
almost like an autoimmune thing then.
Something kind of along those lines. And so we had some guys who were injecting themselves with their own ejaculate, with auto inoculation, and there were case reports of this.
Wow. Talk about information.
Matt and I are into some weird shit, but that would have never been I feel bad. Let me inoculate myself here.
Right. I mean, the guy, to their credit, they're desperate. They're suffering and they don't know what's going on.
Well, no, I'm not mocking them. I'm just saying that's a.
While I'm not mocking, I'm certainly scratching my head going, really?
I would have tried a lot of other things first.
Yeah.
And so I think, they would present to their physician. The physician's like, the hell? I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying, bro. Yeah.
We'll send you to a psychologist. And we're like, stop it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, could it be some somatic thing? Could there be some guilt around?
Yeah. You always have to consider that and to be realistic. So we are assessing measures related to psychosomatic outcomes as well, but we don't think that's the case. We are collecting measures to kind of rule out finally that it's an autoallergen in the ejaculate. That's part of why we collect the ejaculate. We don't think that's the case, but that historically was the idea. So we think there's something that the body is misidentifying this as an allergic response. There's something where we need to respond to an invader, that we've got an infection of some type potentially. So we're just looking to see if we're collecting saliva when they walk in the door, post-orgasm, 30 minutes post-orgasm and 60 minutes post-orgasm. And we're hoping to see interleukin responses.
Yeah.
So interleukins
if it's an allergic
markers.
response. Yeah.
So we should see a spike that's higher in these men who have post-orgasmic illness syndrome immediately after climax.
Is that also the mechanism by which you could eliminate allergen as a cause? Is if you don't see that interleukin?
Well, so if there's an allergic response, it could just be it's not in the ejaculate, which is what they historically
it'd be more systemic.
Yeah.
So I mean, the low hanging fruit for me, I think, is why not just pop a couple antihistamines prior to?
Oh, the guys have definitely thought of this. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think part of the problem is we say, you've got to, at some point they have presentations with all these different symptoms. So we say, okay, we're going to get the canonical, what is the main way this tends to present? Let's just bring those guys in to start. So we are very constrained looking at just a particular type of case for now. And the hope is you find some constant across them, but then there are going to be these edge cases of this guy has a different situation. This guy has something different.
What kind of, in screening, are you looking for I'm going to say something that a lot of doctors don't even think is a real thing. Low level chronic inflammation and infection, say things like Lyme, mold exposure, those kind of things.
We specifically don't want to rule that out. We want to allow it to vary.
Okay. Interesting. Well, how could you even eliminate? I mean, you'd have to go through 800
Well, no, I'm saying not rule it
yeah.
out, but test to see if that's a common thread in
I see.
the men that are experiencing it. Like, is it a symptom of something else?
Yeah, that's our general hope is these broad inflammation markers. So the work is being done with Dr. Tierney Lorenz at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. She's like the world's expert on inflammation around sexual arousal.
Okay.
She's it. She's like
she's the one.
Niche down, you know.
And you don't even get to go to LA and have a burrito. You have to go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
See corn? I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was laughing. So she does liquids, I do electrical. So I'm the expert on the EEG and the GSR and all that stuff. And we have to ship the saliva, blood, ejaculate samples to her. So I have to periodically, we gather up all our cups and put them on dry ice and ship them to Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
Which, the first time we did it, we had some shipping trouble and I ended up all over LA in a Waymo with my dry ice.
Well, thank God it stayed in the box.
God. I was having nightmares. I was like, I ended up having to take it back to the lab and like, it was a mess. So it was trying to figure out how to do the procedure of getting the biosamples because there's lots of FedEx regulations. If you don't know, like shipping ejaculate with dry ice is kind of complicated. Turns out.
Who would have thought that would have been on the list of
that
things,
might be the sentence though.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I don't know what's funnier that you said that or that FedEx had a list of ejaculate related things that you could.
Turns out they got rules for everything.
Yeah, that is fucking hilarious.
You know, they only have a rule if somebody did something wrong once. Yeah. And I want that story.
Yeah, I want to know who made the ejaculate rule.
Because if it's in a box and you click the thing saying it's not explosive, it's not any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should.
How would they know?
I think a box got ran over and a bunch of jizz went all over their warehouse. And
I'm thinking, believe it or not, I'm thinking it's more of like in the horse racing world.
Oh, right.
Where you might have like a half, $500,000 jar of sperm.
Right. Yeah. Pretty sure Nikki's sperm is not worth that much. Like,
I'm pretty sure she can get more where that came from, but it's not Barbaros.
It is.
It's not Barbaros.
It is kind of crazy sometimes. Like, I don't know if people realize how tightly regulated we are of like, we get all this stuff and like we have laws that say we're not allowed to use it to trace back who you are. Like we can't get your DNA out of it. We can't when I take this from this room to that room, like this has to be checked off and this has to be. So we're regulated to Department of Health and Human Services is a federal office. They regulate these institutional review boards. They have a biohazard. So we have to think about if ejaculate's on the wall, what do you do?
Got to call on a hazmat team, huh?
There is a hazmat procedure.
Yeah.
Oh God. I wonder if the adult movie theaters follow the same.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why everyone's like,
it's fine.
Yeah. They kind of think like, oh, it's just this. And we're like, actually, that's part of the challenge is like to do this kind of stuff. It's like, you got to have, so we have a Biohazard 2 regulated laboratory or BSL2 lab.
The perfect place to masturbate, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it puts people right in the mood.
We are so safe.
I saw on a ski lift last year, a kid got hit in the face by the ski there at the mountain we go to. There's a halfway station. You get off, but you don't have to get off. You can keep going. Some kid got off. His friend did not. He turned around to be like, oh shit, hold on. And the ski lift hit him in the face. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But his nose was bleeding like crazy and it was bleeding right at the thing. So I go down the mountain, I come back up on the next lift and I'm like one of the last people to let off. They've got like 7 ski patrols around. Apparently, even though it's in the snow, they have to excavate a certain amount of volume of snow out of this into biohazard bags. So this poor ski guy is like literally snow shoveling bloody snow into these like 8 garbage bags because that's how long I'm like
I feel
wow. Yeah, I'm like what you're like it's a bloody nose in snow. Just kick it over.
They call that a vampire snow cone. I'm sorry. Yeah. Fuck, it was in my head and I can't not say the weird thing or I'll hurt myself.
But it's one of those things you're like, look, I mean, I came a little bit on the wall. We don't need to make a national case out of this, except for you kind of do, right? Because it would be weird if you didn't.
It all has to be like, so we have, when people come in, we have a cover for the keyboard, like that we change out every time. We have to have a mouse pad that we can disinfect. We have to have, everything.
The list of mental energy behind this is
my God.
massive.
This is like,
You're like the dental hygienist that's wrapping saran wrap over every tool, like every time you walk in, you're like, okay, hold on a second.
Yeah. It really is so regulated. It's crazy. But we always say, like, we have to have the trust of our research participants.
No, of course.
If we had one transmission, we'd be done. So.
Well, I mean, I'm laughing only because it all makes sense, but I'd never thought about any of it. I'm like, come on. Are we really?
And knowing the male psyche, I guarantee you that's the furthest thing in their mind.
Sure.
Like, as long as it's not actively dripping off the wall, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, right. And then it's like almost, you're like, well, everything's covered in something, so I don't have to worry about anything here.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we have, like, I've had male participants, like, we give them paper drapes to cover themselves, because I do have to be in their space sometimes when they're partially disrobed, and they'll, I'll walk in and the paper's off. I was like, the drape's over there, and they're like, oh, I don't mind. I was like, right, but
I do.
I might not.
There's regulations.
Yeah, sure.
So the guys are very relaxed.
Are guys coming in with, like, and then going like, oh, you know what this place is? Is there an element of, like, sleazy guys that are enrolling in these participants in these studies?
Get that? So we run these sometimes late at night, and sometimes I'm by myself, and so we had safety discussions about what's reasonable.
That seems terrifying.
So I used to run studies where we would get people drunk and show them porn, and they did not get off, and I was a lot more concerned about those because they're intoxicated, right? And they may do God knows what. This, I always say, like, they're getting off. They're not going to bug me.
They're fine.
Yeah. So we really haven't had those kind of concerns, but we do talk about, like, where the lab is located. We do things so, like, you cannot find the address of the lab anywhere, and we're very, very careful with that. In addition to getting, like, violent threats from the public, we also don't want our participants exposed to that kind of thing of, like, somebody seeing them go in, or so we take a lot of safety precautions to try and make sure that it's, like, locked down. And we've had, long time ago when I was working at the Kinsey, we had a fire in the building when someone was in the middle of a stimulation period. I had another lab had set up where a fight broke out in the hallway, not my staff.
That
like
is
while
weird.
Someone was stimulating. So stuff happens,
Sure.
Wow.
This is real life.
That guy didn't wait for the building to burn down. He's like, give me 5 minutes. I'll be ready in a second.
I'll get out. Just don't worry.
Yeah,
don't worry about
fire. There were at least two of us there, and we were like, is it worse? Like, this is a woman, and we were testing, and we're like, do we pull her out? Like, and so I was like, go right now. What is happening? Is this a drill? And so it was known, like, what happened. So we ended up, that she completed the protocol, but it is like, you have to have these, like, right now you're in a situation that will never happen again.
I want your memoirs so bad.
She's like, I'm going to write the best fucking book ever.
God, just your emails would be amazing.
So what's next for you? Like, is this study seems like it's going well? Do you guys parallel research things, or is this kind of like your focus right now, or what?
We always are rolling multiple things. So I do some work just with, like, opioid and alcohol abuse. So I'm also working on trials to help people stop drinking alcohol that's unrelated to sex at all.
Okay.
But we're doing some work on the we call it hot cognition. So it's like, when you're turned on, everything sounds like a good idea, right? You're like, I wasn't going to use that butt plug. It's too large. I might now. That looks kind of like a good idea. Now I'm in the emergency room.
Right. Okay.
So
hot cognition. Yes. Who hasn't been foiled by that?
Cognition. I love that term.
Yeah.
So I really love the idea of, like, people do dumb things when they're aroused. And I think it's not so different from being intoxicated with alcohol. It's like, you kind of get in a brain state that impulsive pleasure seeking, So we're doing some online work where we can do experiments now, and we have people view pornography or masturbate in their own home, and then look at how they respond to different follow-up tasks. So some of them are behavioral. It's like, okay, it may seem basic, but, like, you're very turned on. How much do you want to have sex with a partner right now? And then we show them a pornographic film where there's a condom, but we don't point it out. The condom's just there. And so we're looking to see if that has an impact. And honestly, I don't think it's going to, but that's the whole point, is like, there are all these anti-porn laws right now that are like, oh, porn is causing this epidemic of non-condom use. I was like, I don't believe it for a second. I don't think
that's the dumbest thing
people notice it.
Yeah, no.
But this is like national policy places, where they're trying to make this regulate pornography access because they say it causes these negative health effects. And I was like, we should study that. They're making laws about it. So that's one of the things we're like just starting data collection for right now. I have a whole series of work we did on orgasmic meditation.
Yeah. So that was our first episode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was 200 and something episodes ago, so it's been a minute. But but yeah, that was our first episode.
What were your thoughts? That was an interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have data from 125 couples that did orgasmic meditation together in our lab. And we have some publications out already from it, but we got brainwave data from both of them also. And those data are, they're very messy because it's, no one really does both they don't do partners to begin with in the lab. Certainly not both of them.
Sure.
So we had a lot of methodological challenges and like, what is this? How do we get clean that?
So there would be the person receiving the stimulation, and then and you measured both.
Yep. So we're interested in the interaction of when this brain alpha goes up, is that one precede or follow it?
What's the title of that paper? I'm pulling up PubMed now.
No. That's literally what we're about to put out.
Oh my God.
So
send us that, please.
Yeah.
So we're very excited because we have a series of papers on orgasmic meditation and like physical responses, but not the brain data yet. And we're very excited about the brain data. It's just, it took a long time to like understand what we were seeing.
That makes sense. Well, your big asterisk on here, and that's not as sexually as it sounded. I didn't mean to make that. But the big asterisk here is that yours were couples. Tom and I's show was predicated on the non-couple sort of quasi
random, like the organization itself, the OM group. Where it was like, hey, this guy is going to be doing this. Don't worry, he's got a rubber glove on.
Yeah. And it was, the stuff that was really like, you should have known better.
Heinous.
It was bad, right?
So I know there is a company, and I get accused, for better or for worse. I happen to also have a first name, Nicole. I'm also about her age, long blonde hair, same blue eyes. And so the woman who led that company, sometimes we're confused with each other.
Oh, no.
I am not her.
I am not her. Yeah.
So I do know, I've met her. I know who she is, but yes, they went through a whole thing, and our work was funded by something called the Institute for Orgasmic Meditation that apparently now has become part of the company, but was not. We would not be allowed to accept money from the company, and wouldn't.
So now you mean that now you wouldn't be able to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that has been a problem now, because like the data we're putting out was from a nonprofit that had nothing to do with the company.
Right. But now
because of what they went through,
now
people are like, they're like, well, and we're like, we did nothing with that company. So it's become a big mess for sure. But that we were interested in the scientific outcomes, and it's called an investigator initiated research, or IIR, which means we own the data. So if we find that it hurts people or does something bad to people, we publish that. Like no one holds us.
You're not looking to present in one way or another. It's
exactly.
It's the data is the data.
Yeah. And so some of our papers are kind of neutral. They're just like, this is what it does. We don't know if it's good or bad, but this is what it does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I know you're in a published track for that, so you don't have to give away any secrets right now. But I am curious: is there anything that you could tell us about the outcome of those, like top line?
Yeah, I mean, in general, some things we've already presented at conferences that I thought were really interesting is when the stimulation first starts, because people always say, "What does the stroker get out of it?" Like, well, he's just sitting there, he's not getting touched, and so. If we limit it to alpha, so we'll do kind of the simplest case, that when the procedure starts, it's 15-minute genital stimulation done with the hand to the side of the clitoris. So the person receiving the stimulation has to have a clitoris, person providing stimulation could be whatever. And they give a 2-minute warning. So it's kind of 13 minutes of stimulation, 2-minute like wind down.
Right.
Their procedure.
There's a big blaring siren and flashing red light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, when they very first start the stimulation, the person receiving the stimulation has very strong alpha suppression. It falls off a cliff like right away.
Wow.
In our study, everyone was very experienced.
Yeah, that's what meditation. I was going to ask. Yeah.
So these are not newbies. They are not new to this or being shocked or shamed or surprised.
This is their bag. Yeah.
And,
so this is Pavlovian almost, right? I mean, they start the thing, they're already in the zone, kind of. Is that what you're suggesting?
We don't know what it would look like in a naive participant, so we're not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But the person providing the stimulation, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I said exactly the opposite. Forget everything I just said.
Okay.
So the person providing the stimulation really suppresses. So the idea is usually he is like focused, paying attention to the partner, the person who's receiving it. The person who's receiving it, the alpha goes up. So she is able to just kind of immediately go into this nice, relaxed, but awake brain state.
Interesting.
And so some of our questions are like, to what extent does this orgasmic meditation look like other forms of meditation, a mindfulness practice or something? So we don't collect both of those, but the idea is we see similar things in mindfulness practice and in high arousal states. So there's some through thread there. And we said this could be a way, very speculative, of like a bottom up. If you're someone who like, I know I'm supposed to meditate, I know it's supposed to be good for me, but I can't just like sit down and be like, okay, brain, let's do the thing.
Sure.
If you have a hard time getting your mind to that place, sexual stimulation might be a bottom up process to reach a similar brain state. So it could be like getting in that, at least from the alpha perspective, it has some similarities with other meditative states. So just trying to take it.
No, they did cite those fMRI studies, and maybe you guys were like, that was like their whole claim to fame. We have fMRI studies that we. Oh,
yeah. Andy Newberg did the fMRI work, and we did the EEG. So, yeah.
And I just, I think that it sounds interesting on paper. You're like, yeah, this could have happened, I guess, but like the side we focused on was the opposite, which was like,
it was the manipulation like and the like, hey, we're charging $10,000 to come to this seminar, and you might get molested. Yeah.
Yeah,
we weren't in those. The business. No.
I hope you have a public CV because I want to read everything you've ever published.
Yeah.
It's funny. I consider myself like an affective neuroscientist and addiction researcher, but the second people see my CV, they're like, vagina. She does vagina. And the second they see vagina on it, it's like, all right, yes, I also do that.
Vagina PhD. I can see the sitcom now. It might have to be on Showtime.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Nikki, I could talk to you about this all day. I want to just kind of get to a point where we tell people how to find you. What are you interested in? All the commercial part of you. But before I got there, I just want to say, man, this was super educational.
Please come back. Please come back. You're the first person I'm like begging to come back.
Yeah. Because like there's so much of this stuff you think how much could I possibly now need to learn about jerking off? Apparently a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy how little we know and what application it could have.
Yeah.
But it's just, we don't know. So. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm always happy. LinkedIn is easiest. I feel like it's the safe one that's going to be there forever. So you can always find me on LinkedIn.
Not too many dick pics on that one.
Yeah.
Fewer.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. No. I was hoping for 0.
I sometimes still get the orgasm inquiries in LinkedIn. I was like, that's your real name.
Yeah. Like,
why are you sending me this into your real name?
I know where you work.
Yes.
Hey, so you're the CEO,
huh?
Yeah.
But so that's good. But if you ever want papers of mine and you find them behind a paywall, all scientists hate that we can't just give our papers out. So I have a ResearchGate profile where you can call and just email me for any paper you want. I'll send it your way, no problem. And I have librocenter.com that is sometimes up. for all that, for socials and stuff, but those are good places to find me professionally. And if people have an interest in specific things and interest in research collaborations, I'm always open to chat. And I've had some weird conversations that actually go places sometimes.
Yeah, awesome. Sure.
So.
Yeah, I'm sure that you do, man. Like I said, I can't wait to read your memoir. It's going to be fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well,
this was so
amazing. I really appreciate your time, and I guess
please come back.
Weekend. Yeah, please. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'll tell you what we figured out what happened with these guys. I don't know yet. So
we've actually made a couple researcher packs with a couple people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the psilocybin Louise Hecker. She had this accidentally viral research paper that went out about psilocybin extending
at the cross section of longevity and psychedelics.
She's like super wildly popular, and I was like,
"We gotta do telomeres. We gotta do telomeres and jack it off."
I'm like, "You hit the trifecta of shit." Like, and she's like, "I'm a fibrotic disease researcher." Like, I'm not even. She's like,
I wasn't even interested in drugs, and then somebody kept hounding her about it.
And it's just kind of funny how and she said the same thing. She's like, "Listen, we actually, because that was such a wildly successful study, we got like 3 times as much money to do it in humans now because it was always just animal studies."
Amazing.
And she's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Well, you got to come back, obviously." Like, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I definitely will come back."
Yeah, when that drops, I mean, we're connected on LinkedIn already. Please let us know. We would love to have a discussion about all that.
I can't wait to read it, man. It's like super interesting stuff. So.
And the amount of meditation we do, man.
Yeah.
If you got a shortcut that sounds more fun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Thanks so much.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.